Welcome back to Judgment Decision Making. I'm Dr. Padilla. Now we're going to talk about metaphorical pain and disgust. Now you can have physical pain. You can stub your toe, and essentially the pain receptors are sending information of your spine into your brain, and a variety of functions start happening at that point. Now the anterior cingulate cortex, the ACC that we've talked a lot about, plays a role in determining the source of the pain. So it can be bad pain. For example, your toe might be infected and needs to be cut off. That's why you're experiencing pain in your toe. Or it might be good pain, like you have good news, you've scored a goal in soccer, and that's why your toe is throbbing. Now the ACC does more than just tell you the meaning of the pain. It's actually involved in both social and physical pain. So the physiological response that we have for a social pain is actually quite similar to a physical pain. Further, the response that we have when we are feeling someone else's pain is the same as the metaphorical pain that we might have for ourselves, like heartbreak, or for the physical pain of stubbing a toe. It's all the same physiological response, but the ACC helps you figure out where the source of that pain, actual physical feeling is coming from. Now, in line with that, disgust functions quite similarly. So to think of a disgusting event that has happened in the past, this one is the killing in Sandy Hook, where many young school children were murdered. When you think about those events, you probably have a literal feeling of disgust. Your stomach might turn, you might feel nauseous. And so the insula plays a role in this. We've talked about this quite a bit, where it is involved in prompting us to vomit if we ingest toxic anything so that we survive. It's also involved in purging the feeling of toxic events. So sometimes if you are seeing or remembering something that is so disgusting, you might even vomit yourself. That's your insula prompting you to get rid of those toxic feelings. So the distance between the symbolic message and the meaning almost disappears. This metaphorical threat that has happened in the past becomes essentially the same as a physical threat to us right now. Now, in terms of this metaphorical disgust, there's a variety of interesting empirical findings out there. For example, people eat less in studies after contemplating a morally disgusting act than if they didn't, meaning that they feel sick, so they're not going to eat as much. Similarly, when they are given a neutral tasting drink, they're more likely to think of it as less tasty after they've recalled an immoral event. This is an interesting one where disgust serves as an outgroup marker. First, you're disgusted by how others smell, and it's a gateway to being disgusted about how others think. And one interesting example from this is in Parasite, if you've seen that movie. No spoilers here, but there's one character that's a very high-class character, and he doesn't like the smell of poor people. And he has a hard time determining, like, what is that bad smell? Turns out it's actually just poor people. And that plays into some of the plot points within the movie. Now, of course, insofar that metaphorically being dirty is associated with bad, metaphorically being clean is associated with being good. And one example that I think of from this is I have a friend from elementary school who is very religious, and she started a cleaning company. And her cleaning company is called Next to Godliness Cleaning Service. And that functions off of the metaphor, cleanliness is next to godliness. And she is sort of suggesting that she is a Christian company, and you can hire this company to help you be more clean, which will help you be more Christian. It's all kind of tied into our metaphorical associations with clean being good. Another interesting finding, subjects were asked to watch a physically disgusting video clip, and afterwards they made more morally judgmental decisions unless they washed their hands after viewing the clip, suggesting that they were cleaning themselves away from the morally disgusting event. And one kind of historical example of this is Pontius Pilate washing his hands after he gave up Jesus, suggesting that he's cleaning himself from these sins. Another study suggests that washing hands decreases emotional arousal after seeing these morally bad events, and that is indicating that you kind of calm down after you wash your hands, that you're in a morally aroused state when you have seen these bad video clips. But wait, there's more. Subjects were asked to recount either a moral or an immoral act in their past. And afterwards, researchers offered the subjects different gifts, and the individuals that recalled an immoral act were more likely to take hand sanitizing wipes than those who watched a moral act. And the ones who saw the moral act were more likely to take a pencil, which is illustrated interestingly in this soap advertisement, wash away your sins. And it's just sort of interesting that this concept of cleaning yourself of existential threats has really permeated our media and society. Those who recounted an immoral act were more likely to take the hand wipes. Okay, and this effect is called the Macbeth effect. It's when people were instructed to lie, the worse they lied, the more hand washing they did. And this is in Shakespeare's play by Macbeth. And I will note that there's a newer movie called Lady Macbeth with Florence Pugh in it, and I haven't actually watched it, but I suspect there's likely a hand washing scene in there because it relates to the original Shakespearean play. Okay, subjects were instructed to lie about something with either their mouths, they could tell a lie, or they had to write down a lie. And what they found is that the people who spoke the lie were also more likely to want mouthwash afterwards, and the people who wrote down the lie were more likely to want hand soap. And does this actually influence our decisions? We've seen lots of examples of this influencing kind of our actions, but does it influence what we do? The intermixing of moral and physical hygiene affects the way that we actually behave, i.e. make decisions. And one interesting example of this is when subjects were told to recall an immoral act of theirs, afterwards subjects did or did not have the opportunity to clean their hands. And those that were able to wash their hands were less likely to help an experimenter that needed help. The individuals who did get a chance to wash their hands were more likely then to help an experimenter. And in another study, merely watching someone wash their hands made you less likely to help an individual under stress. What means overall these findings is that if your metaphorically dirty hands have been literally washed, you are less likely to help others because your conscience is clean. You don't need to even out the playing field, make sure you get some more moral points on your side because you've cleaned your hands and you're good to go. As far as the neurons in the ACC are concerned, social and literal pain are the same thing. And the final summary here is that the insula not only prompts the stomach to purge itself of toxic food, it prompts the stomach to purge the reality of a horrible event.